Hey there folks, and welcome back for another video. I am Chris from iLather.com, and today we're going to do a sofa session and answer some questions I've got via email and respond to some various things. And we're going to have a little hooch, bourbon. Hooch is another word for booze in case you're not familiar. We're going to have a little Angel's Envy, which is a very good bourbon, not even for sale in this state, West Virginia, which is a travesty really. Really nice bourbon. We'll drink in our fancy glass, which I can't remember the name of. Tom Brim suggested this glass, and it is a very good glass. It's kind of a double-walled. It's like a Glencairn glass inside a tumbler, but it's not as heavy. Anyway, I think it's called Nor or something. I don't recall, but let's go ahead and have a little of the Elixir of the Gods whiskey before we get started to grease the pipes a little bit. Here's to you folks, by the way. Yes. An Angel's Envy is a very nice bourbon. If you haven't had it and you like whiskey or bourbon in particular, Angel's Envy is a good one to try. Okay, let's get into the subject matter. A lot of things to cover today. It's raining outside and it's 45 degrees. 45 degrees! It's been up in the 80s and 90s, and today it's raining and 45, so it gives us an opportunity to do a sofa session. So I get questions every single day via email in a pretty heavy volume, and I try to answer them every single day. Some days, sometimes I'll take a day or two off, and then I'll come back and I'll have 60 emails to answer, or maybe 30. You know, it just depends on what's going on at the time. But people ask me questions, and sometimes I'll respond on video. The Big Shave West was an example of that. People asked me why I didn't want to go, so I answered that question, gave my reasoning, and also gave the opinion of some of the artisans who had spoke to me about it, some of which who went and who did not. And the only reason I bring this up again is to say I'm answering questions and giving my opinion. It doesn't make it fact. It doesn't mean I'm right, and you don't have to like the opinion. But to go on this crusade against it, you know, I was told there was someone in a group that was, you know, oh, he's attacking so-and-so. No, first of all, it wasn't meant to be an attack. It's just giving my opinion, all right? And I didn't say so-and-so as a sleaze bag or what have you. It's just like, here's why I don't go. Here's where I think it could be better. If it, you know, a lot of people considered it a trade show, some didn't. Anyway, the point is, it's an opinion. It's not, now some there were facts in that opinion, but it's an opinion. And so I just wanted to make that clear. Just because I may not go doesn't mean it's not a good event. It doesn't mean people don't put a tremendous amount of effort into it, because they do. Let's be clear about that, because you know, things always tend to get taken the wrong way, and partially it's because people latch onto that content. They don't listen to the points. And I'll tell you one of the things, as you're making videos or making critical remarks about products in the wet shaving world or whatever hobby you're in, you'll always notice fanboys. Now, to me, I'm going to give you my definition of a fanboy. A fanboy is someone who has an irrational love for product or person, so much so that they can't tolerate any negative opinion of it. All right, they have to attack, they have to lash out, they have to come and protect that person or brand. A fan is someone who uses a product and they really enjoy it. However, there'll be times where they get something they don't like, they say it. There'll be times when people attack or make critical remarks about that product, and they let it go. They just like, they might say, well, I like it. You know, I'm sorry you didn't like it. There's a fan. A fanboy fanboys are the type that, you know, someone's attacking my favorite brand. They have no tolerance for anyone making a critical remark. Not, I'm using the term attack, but it's actually usually not an attack against a brand or a person. It's usually just a critical remark, and folks don't like it. All right, I'll be honest with you. I love brands like Sterling. I think it is absolutely top rate. I am a fan of Sterling. One of my best friends in the community does not like Sterling, and he says all the time, I don't like it. And it doesn't bother me a bit. It doesn't get under my skin. In fact, he said before, you know, back when they used to have the scent, it smelled like dirty socks and all these sort of things. And then I agreed. But even now he doesn't like it. And he says it periodically. And I'm like, that's fine. I still like it. You can like things that I don't like. I can not like things that you like. And that's okay. We don't have to be at odds with each other because of these conflicting opinions, because that's what they are. What's great for me may not be for you. You may love the way someone does business. I may not. It's okay to voice those concerns. Now, where I think it goes over the line is when you start to get really personal and you attack someone's character based on unfounded, you know, it's not an attack to state facts. All right. But when you just, at every opportunity, you attack someone's character, and it's usually obvious, you know, I think that goes overboard, or you make disparaging remarks about that individual. If you're talking, however, about the way they do business, the product, I think it's fair game. All right, and you don't have to like that. We have to be tolerant of opposing points of views, and we have this problem not in this community, not only in this community, but at large, all over the world. It seems like we can't tolerate if someone doesn't agree with us. And the irony of that is we're supposed to be in the age of tolerance, but it's actually become the opposite. The folks who go around preaching tolerance have no tolerance. They want everyone to agree with them. And that's not what I'm out to do here. Some people will agree with me, some not. But if you see something and I make a criticism or put forward a critique, it's not personal. All right, it's not personal. So please keep that in mind. Now, there are some brands I will not use. And again, I try to remain friendly with those folks. We aren't friends, per se, because, you know, I like to keep my circle small. There's a lot of people I'm associated with in Wetshaving that aren't true friends of mine. They're associates. We have the hobby in common. And then I have people who I actually consider to be friends. So it doesn't mean that those folks that I'm associates with aren't worthy. It's just I do tend to keep my circle a little bit small. But anyway, back to the original point, the point I was making. We have to be tolerant of the opposite point of view on products, the way folks do business, etc. This can't become a hobby where you can only say glowing things about businesses all the time. If it comes to that, there'll be no point in doing these videos whatsoever. And let me suggest something to you. I have been on a good run lately with products. Stand by for just a moment, and I'm going to give you an example of how you can tell a fanboy from a fan. I know I'm sort of schizophrenic in changing topics real quick, but I just remembered something, so I got to go over get something. I'll be right back. Stay tuned. All right, so we're back, and I've went and retrieved a tub of Cold River Soapworks, which is excellent stuff. I'm a fan of Cold River, but I'm not a fanboy. This is Tropico. I don't like the scent. To me, it's not what I expected from the name Tropico. It just doesn't smell good to me. Now, there was a gentleman in Razor and Brush the other day, Greg Grader, who's never tried Cold River, and I happened to see that he's never tried it, and I bought this, so I'm going to send it to them. So it's going to get some use, and I would have given it away on my channel, even if I hadn't have seen that comment by Greg. Here's an example of someone who's a fan, not a fanboy. I don't like this scent. To me, it doesn't. I just don't care for it. It stinks for me. Now, that said, I like Larry. He makes a fantastic top-rate soap, but I'm not going to like everything Larry puts out. I'm not going to rubber stamp everything Larry puts out. Having said this, I said the scent stinks. I don't like it. There's no reason for all the Cold River fanboys to go, oh, he's attacking. They're attacking Larry. Attacking Larry. Form up, everybody. This is what happens in this hobby. And it's a disgrace. It is a disgrace. Now, some brands are more prone to have this, acolyte army who respond to that, It would be a kazoo in some cases. Form up. Let's go on the attack. We have to attack Chris from Lather because he said Tropico stinks. We don't need to do that, all right? Because what you could do is say, hey, you know what? I really like Tropico. I'm sorry you didn't like it. You've made your point. You have expressed your personal opinion. You have supported Larry, if that was your objective to do so. But you haven't created a big rift in doing so at the same time. You see how that works? So this one's going to Greg Grader next week. I don't like it. All right, I think it stinks. However, Greg may like it. To me, it's a little, I don't know, it's kind of earthy a little bit. I just don't, I expected something sweet, and I think my expectations weren't met by this particular soap. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to continue to buy Cold River Soap Works because I like the vast majority of scents. He is a fantastic scenter or person who makes scents. So I'll continue to buy it, but every soap from Cold River Soap Works is not going to be a hit. Every soap from Sterling is not going to be a hit. I had Ben Franklin a month or so ago, and it was terrible. It stank. Terrible. It smelled like mothballs, like a bucket of mothballs. However, I like Rod from Sterling. I like Mandy, his wife. I didn't like that soap. Folks, it's okay to say it. Now, should you be diplomatic about it? Sure. Sure, you should say, you know, it's just not for me. I don't really care for it. If it stinks, it stinks. You know, that's okay. But there's no need to run Larry in the ground and go, oh, Larry makes crappy stuff. You know, you have to be mindful of your words. And sometimes I'm not as mindful as I should be, admittedly. But I try to, you know, keep my critique on point. So keep that in mind. We need to allow for these opposing point of views. But I've noticed over the last couple of years, it's become more and more difficult to express any sort of criticism because everybody gets up in arms. Look, folks, you know, enjoy what you enjoy. Say when you enjoy it. And it's perfectly fine to respond and go, you know what, I really like it. Okay. But you don't have to demonize the person with the opposing point of view. All right. It's bad form. It's disgraceful, and it's happening more and more. And it's getting to the point like we're worshiping artisans like they're cult leaders, or, you know, it's beyond reasonable. In some cases more than others. You know, let's think about what we do, the wet shaving community, you and I who buy stuff constantly. And I buy the vast majority of my stuff. I'll have folks send things to me that I take one scoop of and give it away. And I keep mentioning this because things will go around about, oh, they're always sending him stuff. No, they're not always sending me stuff. I do get stuff from time to time. This week, I don't think I got anything. Next week, I might get one thing. I take one scoop or one splash of the aftershave, and then I send it out and give it away with my money. It costs me money. All right, one scoop of soap or a splash of aftershave is not worth $5 or $6, which is usually what it costs me. All right, the only thing that I benefit from is being able to try it to see if I like it, and then I go buy it. All right, so keep that in mind. Anyway, these things will come, you know, I use them. I've gotten lost. I've lost my original point. Oh, okay. Sorry. I need a drink is what it is. And by the way, no, I haven't been drinking. This is my first whiskey of the day. And it's fantastic. All right. So, back on point. We appreciate the artisans very much. No one appreciates them more than me. However, on the same token, just because I appreciate them and I like them, it doesn't mean they are going to be immune from criticism. That can be in the way they do business and the way they do anything. Hey, it happens. In my job, I get criticized a lot. All right. I just spent a day yesterday writing a report on something that happened that was a mistake on our part, and I owned it. Sometimes that actually it was a failure of infrastructure, but that's neither here nor there. The point is, sometimes you're going to have people who are critical when they don't appreciate the way you're doing business. All right, and so when it happens to me in my profession, hey, I understand the customer's not happy, and they shouldn't be if they're not getting what they're reasonably entitled to. And I think it's the same scenario in wet shaving. What folks never seem to think about when it comes to wet shaving is, yes, because of the reviews, there are at times negative opinions expressed. But however, how much indirect promotion do these artisans enjoy? It's a lot. A lot. Every single day I'm using products. Now, I don't promote these products deliberately because I'm going to tell you, I don't care if you buy this or not, because it is not going to put another cent in my pocket. It will not make me another penny if you buy this. It will not put another soap in my rack over there if you buy it. I do not get commissions. I do not get compensation from the artisans. So if you never buy a Cold River soap, that's okay. I hope you do, because I like it. And I like it when I get feedback, when people say, you said this was great and I love it. That makes me feel good. I'm like, okay, I'm being a service to folks. I like that. However, sometimes you're not going to like what I like. But back to the original point, how much promotion do the artisans enjoy in all of these groups and all of these forums where everybody's taking pictures? How many other hobbies are there? Maybe a little bit liquor, like whiskey. You'll see people taking photos. To a certain extent, cigars. But there's not a lot of hobbies or products where people take pictures of it. Food, to a certain extent, enjoys that. But you won't see people taking pictures of their toothpaste and putting it up on Facebook going, toothpaste of the day. Man, this is great. And other people see it and buy it. The artisans enjoy a tremendous amount of promotion. In fact, some of them don't even have to, some of them choose, I should say, not to advertise at all, because they appreciate the word of mouth. They actually like doing business that way. Now, some do advertise. Some of them advertise a lot. But all of them enjoy essentially free promotion from us. All right. We buy this stuff. We use it. That is a promotion. It's not deliberate. But the effect is people will see this video and see that I'm holding up this Cold River Soapworks Select. And they may try it as a result of that. And do try it as a result of it oftentimes. So the artisans give us a lot in terms of the product. We give them a tremendous amount of promotion. This is a two-way street. All right. It's not one-sided. It's not like they're just, so benevolent that these soaps just fall out of the sky from Larry. And I don't buy them. And they just, no, I buy these things. I buy the vast majority of things. I spend a tremendous amount of money. And I mention that time and again because I want people to understand that this is not freebie stuff. All right, most of what I own, in fact, all of what I own that I keep, I buy. Everything else is given away. And these just don't fall from the sky. These, I spend my hard-earned money on. And I do a video on it. And if I like it, I'm really happy. And if I don't, I'll end up giving it away. And sometimes I'll flip it or whatever the case may be, if it's a razor or something. They, however, enjoy a tremendous amount of promotion. Do not forget that. This is a two-way street. It's not one-sided. All right? But the direction I've seen things go in is everything's like, so-and-so is so great. They're just wonderful. And they are. I like many of them. Some of them are my friends. But they're not giving this stuff to us. This hobby is not a result of charity, where they're just giving us these things and we're enjoying them. And now some of them are super generous and they do charities and fundraisers and all these things. I'm not saying they're not generous. But let's keep in mind they are running businesses. All right, and they're making a profit. And they are entitled to make a profit on their business. I don't have any problem with that at all. What I have a problem with is putting them up to such a degree that they can't be criticized, like they're a deity, and that's where things have gone a little bit, in my opinion. Some will disagree. That's okay. But let's bring them down to earth a little bit. Do they do a fantastic job? By and large, you darn skippy, they do. Do they work with us on product development and try to get us things that we like? Yes. Some do a better job with that than others. Some will really listen to you and try to really get something that you love and take a lot of your input. The others are like, I know what I'm doing. I'm a soap maker. I know how to do it. I don't need you. That's okay too. Either way is fine, but we appreciate more the ones who we think listen to us. They do give us more input than just about any other industry in terms of input. I don't know very many products where you really get to give your opinion, and sometimes the artisans will change their product as a result of your opinions. So they move very quickly. You're supporting small businesses. There's a lot of great things to say about it. And a lot of times what happens in a video like this is people will key in on the things they perceive to be negative, whereas I just said they're not a deity. All right. They'll key in on that, but they'll forget the fact that I just said, Yes, they allow you input. Yes, they make great products. Yes, they're inexpensive. All of these positive things that I'm saying, they forget all of that and they just key in on certain points. So you have to listen to the entire message to get all the context. What we're trying to do here, my message to you is bring it down to earth. All right. These are by and large very good people. They by and large listen to us. They by and large produce great products. But always keep in mind they're business folks. All right. And they're business folks just like Ford is or GM, granted, they much smaller scale. They allow us more input, but they're still doing it as a business. Now, you have some hobbyists who do it as a side business. It's a little bit different. But this is the way a lot of these folks make their living. Now, Larry is retired, for example, and he uses this to supplement his retired income. But still, Larry makes a profit. Let's keep this in mind when we're evaluating things and we think about the things that are said in this community. Let's not get so involved in the worship of brands or individuals. And I don't care who that is. It can be me. If you really like my stuff, I'm going to give you an example just in a moment. Hold that thought. If you really like the videos that I do, it doesn't mean that you have to be put off by every negative opinion of me. And I'm going to give you an example of that after I take a little bit of Angel's Envy. Awesome sauce. So yesterday, a gentleman emails me, and he brings to my attention a video by the Suffolk Shaver, who I think is a pretty nice guy. He does videos. He does a good job with his videos. They're long. They're way longer than I like personally, but I think he does a good job. And I think some people appreciate the fact that you're going to take that extra time and really be slow and deliberate and enjoy the experience. So I think he does an excellent job. Everybody has different preferences on what they like in videos. Some like products. Some just like listening to people talk. Some like watching a guy and his technique. I think he does a really good job overall. He said during the course of his video that I had been mentioning recently that I'm the most prolific wet shaving video blogger, which as far as I know I am. That's just a statement of fact, as I know it. And then he went on to say that guys like Joe from Queens, people appreciate his stuff just as much as they do mine. And I agree. Absolutely agree. Joe from Queens does an excellent job. Suffolk Shaver does an excellent job. David Gonzalez does an excellent job. Paul H does an excellent job. Nick Shaves does an excellent job. Mantic. I could go on and on and on. All these people bring a little something different to the table. And so I have never claimed that I do it better than anyone else. I've never claimed that it is more important than what everyone else is doing. And I never claim I'm the end-all be-all. In fact, I highly recommend you go out and watch other things in addition to mine. What I say is I'm an effort guy. I'm going to keep putting that effort. I'm going to keep pounding that effort day in, day out. That's the way I do everything. All right. So if you like seeing products and you like seeing it regularly, day in, day out, this is the place. All right. In my opinion. Of course, I'm going to like what I do. I mean, it comes with doing it. I mean, you're going to enjoy. If I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't do it. But that does not mean better. All right. Does not mean. I've never claimed it was. All right, I'm not the authority on wet shaving. I've said that many, many times. So anyway, back to the point. The fellow emailed me and he said, you know, I thought it was disrespectful and I just wanted you to know. And I appreciate the fact that you're a regular viewer and that you care enough to let me know, hey, you know, somebody was maybe disrespecting you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that you're coming back, that you're watching this content, and that you keep me in mind. However, people are entitled to their opinion, just as I'm entitled to make a critique or critical remark about an artisan. People are entitled, such as the Suffolk Shaver, to make a critique of what I do. Now, if he says, you know, he's an asshole, pardon my language for those kids in the room, I hate to use that term or any term, try to keep it family friendly. He's always ranting and raving, he's a piece of garbage, he's a, you know, if you're using a lot of disparaging language and it's obviously a personal attack, then obviously that's not kosher. That's not the way we ought to do things. However, the Suffolk Shaver simply said, hey, You know, his stuff is no more important than anybody else's. And guess what? He's absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. So, to the emailer, thank you. I appreciate it. But I'm going to be honest on the same token. People go around and say stuff about me all the time. It comes with the territory. It comes with doing this regularly and having a strong opinion. I'm a guy with a strong opinion. A lot of folks are not going to like that. A lot of folks will not watch this channel. That's okay. They can have their opinion in the same way that I'll have my opinions as to what other people do. It's okay to be critical. And to me, it wasn't a super critical remark. I didn't think so. So, Folk Shaver, I say good on you. You are entitled to voice your opinion, and I think you did it in a thoughtful way, and I didn't find it to be at all disrespectful. Now, believe me, there's plenty of disrespectful opinions that float around about me. I don't spend a lot of time worrying about it. You know, initially, I couldn't figure out why it was happening, and I was trying to wrap my head around it. And then over time, I learned. You know, it just comes with the territory. Most of the time, it's from anonymous people. There aren't that many people who will actually put a name behind it. Sometimes they do. That's okay. You know, if you do it in a reasonably diplomatic fashion, I don't have a problem with that. So I say, so Folk Shaver, good on you. And you mentioned a great channel. I think it's Briarwood something. Joe from Queens. He doesn't do videos often, but when he does, they're fantastic. I have always liked his videos. Anyway, I've been babbling for quite some time now. This is a pretty long video for me because I usually don't do long videos, and the content at times on these sofa sessions are a little bit, you know, all over the place, but I sort of bounce from topic to topic because, you know, I don't really prepare it. I'm not prepared with a speech. It's just stream of consciousness, as some people would say. That's kind of the way I do it. Let's just remember, folks, excuse me, get tongue twisted too. That's normal for me. We have to be tolerant of criticism, so long as it's fairly diplomatic. And how diplomatic it is, or at what level of diplomacy they should use, will vary from person to person. But you can tell when somebody's making really disparaging, offensive remarks. That's out of line. But when somebody just says, hey, I don't care for this product, I don't care for the way they do their videos, or they're not really all that valuable to me, that's okay. Not everybody is going to like everything, nor should they. If everybody liked everything, there'd be no reason to do this. All right, there'd be no reason to do this. It's important that we come out and we express our misses as much as it is hits. Now, the point that I was getting to a little ways back is I've been on a string of excellent picks lately. Just about everything I've bought, I've liked, except for this one. This one was a miss, and what I try to do from time to time is do a video on misses. I won't have to on this one because I've already told you what it is. It's important that we express these opinions. No, I really didn't like it. I didn't like the scent. Some folks who have similar tastes and scents will see that and go, you know, maybe I don't like it. That doesn't guarantee that you won't like it. All right, but if you tend to agree with me on scents, you know, it gives you a little more feedback. But what I suggest you do, go to other YouTubers, reviewers, video bloggers, whatever. See what they have to say as well. All right, take all that information in its aggregate and then make your decision. All right, because again, I'm not trying to sell you this product. It's totally up to you. But if you get it and like it, I'm surely happy that you bought it. However, I'm going to say when I don't like something, just like I said today, I don't like this one. And Larry at Coal River will completely understand that, you know, not everything could be a hit. But, you know, we'll call it both ways. It's going to be important to do that. If you watch a channel on YouTube that's a video reviewer or blogger, and you never see any misses, you might question the objectivity of the video blogger. Or maybe on the other hand, that video blogger only wants to talk about the things he enjoys. I understand that point of view. However, I feel it's important to also talk a little bit about what you don't like. You don't have to spend a lot of time. Like, I'm not going to continue and talk about Tropicos for the next year about how much I didn't like it. All right, once I do this, I'll move beyond it. Now, if somebody asks me in the future, If I like to say, no, I didn't care for the scent. I didn't care for it. Or if it comes up in conversation, maybe we mention it. But you don't have to keep mentioning it, you know, for 100,000 times. Mention it and you move on. Sometimes you'll refer back to it as an example of something you didn't like. Or if you're comparing things, like for example, a good example for me is synthetic shaving brushes. The Simpson synthetic is, for me, the benchmark for bad in synthetic. That's just the way I feel about it. Some people disagree. Like the Black Wolf and the Razor Rock Plus-Offs and Plus-Ons and Game Changers and all these other Mula silver tip fiber, those represent more positive things. But I always have to refer, I have to have one to refer to as sort of my benchmark for a pour. It's a disgrace for me. I don't like it at all. So I'll refer back to it as, you know, something I really don't like. So you'll get an idea of where I am on the sort of plane of synthetic brushes. So I do understand referring back to a product you really don't like for that purpose, but to continue to kill it for all time, you know, you don't really have to do that. At least that's my opinion. And all of this, in fact, is opinion. So, you know, you may find you agree with me. You may find you disagree. It's okay either way. Either way, excuse me. As long as you do it relatively diplomatically, I think it's just fine. All right, folks, I want to thank you for joining me on this rainy Saturday. Hope to see you folks again soon. Until next time, let's help make the entire world shave great once again.